specialize in music most people hate. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our Facebook page, Instagram, and our website. Let us share the noise with you.
Yo, this is John from Noise Dosage Media, and this episode is brought to you by Begrudgingly Benny. Interested in putting something horrific and grotesque on your next piece of merch? Benny is tucked away in the fiery depths of COVID quarantine, blasting the filthiest of old school death metal and drawing hideous creatures that he is waiting for you to adopt. Go over to Instagram and follow @BegrudginglyBenny and contact him if you would like some really weird original art for your band or label. Super professional, highly recommended. You said that you basically write most of the music. Does that, how do I put it? Do you enjoy having all the responsibility in the writing process?
I did. See, in the beginning, I wasn't confident enough to do it all on my own. So I was pretty happy when a friend of mine, with whom I play in an 80s metal cover band, said he was willing to join for the project. And he gave me some confidence that this was a good idea and that we're doing the right thing. And the way we worked together was pretty much the guideline on how our music developed. And to understand that, I probably need to go a bit more into detail how we wrote songs back then. Mm-hmm. We just got together and playing around, writing some riffs, and recording those riffs, and that was it. And when I had those riffs recorded, I sat down at home and I tried to figure out how to turn them into a song. So everything we did together in this initial writing session then got a pretty big stamp from my side, which you might call responsibility. Right. For how this thing was laid out harmonically and how this was laid out songwriting wise. And that's basically why the songs turned out to be so long, because I had a lot of material from that writing session. And I know the next writing session wasn't going to happen within the next 3 months or so. So I tried to make the most out of it.
Right. Now, you said that you started writing in 2016. So does that mean that you wrote that album in 2 years then?
Yeah, well, about a year, I guess.
A year?
Because,
wow.
Yeah, it's about a year because I published this album as a cassette before, the tape version, which has a complete different mix, by the way. So if you own both the demo cassette and the regular album, you actually have two different albums, because I re-recorded stuff of this for the vinyl version. Then in the end, yeah, I happened to re-record stuff and rearrange stuff. So basically, the material was made within 1 year, and then I was looking for a label, and I was trying to get an audio engineer and all the stuff that you need to care about. And that's what took me to 2018 to release the album.
Right on. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, they just think it's so easy to just drop an album and have people see it. And there's so much more to that. Like, you have to investigate how you're going to drop it, promotional companies that aren't going to, take your money, that aren't going to give any profits, for views and such like that.
Yeah, tell me about it.
I don't know. It's one of those things that I've slowly learned. But.
Yeah, that's basically the pain in the ass, because although there is a lot of talented bands out there right now, it's just the accessibility to making music nowadays is so widely spread that everyone makes something. And as a fan or as a music lover, you don't even have the chance to listen to everything. And that's exactly what makes it
I totally
so
feel
hard.
that.
Yeah.
I feel like nowadays, it's you're paying to just get it in people's face because it's so impossible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so many like noise projects, just really weird stuff that, you know, I see more. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's
But
something I think is really a sign of our times. Because when I look at popular music, that might be mainstream charts music, or it might be underground music, which is has been released quite recently. I think that soundscaping is more the thing of the time. So it's not about harmonic content. It's not about melodies anymore. It's very often about soundscaping. So
that's what I've been. Yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I've been kind of writing myself too.
have a look at Blyh Eilish, for example. This is
Yeah.
it's almost zero musical content, but the sound is so strong that it still has some fascination to it.
Right. Yeah, I feel like even like hardcore bands, like they're instead of playing fast, they're playing slow. Like everything, like death metal, everybody wanted to be fast, and now everybody's going slow and
Yeah.
like doom and stuff like that. I feel like that's more popular nowadays.
Maybe that is. I try to combine both because I think that musical attraction, only comes from variation. So if you're blasting on a 50-minute album and it's all blast beats, then it's getting kind of boring.
Yeah, the
I
poor
think.
drummer.
Yeah, or the pure drum computer nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Now you said you have a full lineup now.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah. What do you want to know about it?
I mean, just like in general, like how does it feel to have people backing your project?
It's pretty amazing because, especially the two new guys, because I was joined by my initial colleague who started out with me in 2016. He's still on the band, and I'm pretty happy about that because we're close friends, by the way.
Now you said, sorry, I want to,
Yeah.
just because I'm going to forget it. You said that you're in a cover band, right?
Yeah, right.
What type of music do you play in that?
Well, we're playing things like Anthrax, Manowar, Slayer, Metallica, Accept, something from the 80s, and I tend to like the things most where I can sing falsetto and the really high pitched 80s metal stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
How about Overkill?
Oh, I love it. We're working on Hello from the Gutter right now.
Nice. I just saw them before all this COVID stuff happened. It was crazy.
They're still as energetic as in the 80s. I adore the band. Although I don't like their albums past White Fucking Open, I still think they have the drive. And, well, they're in their 50s now and they're still rocking.
They're still going at it.
Yeah.
Now, give me, other than Overkill, some bands that you think that haven't, like, you know, gotten up in age but still have their touch.
Band. Well, what's pretty terrifying is seeing good bands growing bad. That's something that really goes to my heart. I'm pretty heavy into the first 5 Manowar albums right now, which I'm spinning all the time. And I realized that I can't stand anything beyond Kings of Metal. And I tried to watch some recent shows on YouTube, and I think it's just a shame. They should have stopped earlier, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching a funny interview, and one of the questions was like, if there was a member that passed away and you could bring back, who would it be? And one of the guys said, I would bring back the singer from Motley Crue.
Oh.
And they go, what do you mean? He's not dead. And he goes, dude, yeah, he is, man. Have you listened to him lately?
Yeah. So. Same goes for Guns N' Roses. Well, if I had to name a band which still is able to nail it, although they have been around like 35, 40 years, I'd name Anthrax, of course, because it's not their most recent album, I believe, but their worship music, the latest with their original singer, that's just great. I love it. And of course, Carcass. Carcass did a great re-entry with their Surgical Steel album. I hope they will do something newer or something, in the near future, because one of the most influential albums that I've ever heard is Necroticism, which is I love it. It's one of the best albums.
Carcass is one of those bands that everybody talks about, and I'm like, I listen to every band but them, and I have to. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But give me some other bands I should check out.
Oh, well, other bands that you should check out. I'm a pretty old school guy, so a very influential other album that I always revisit is Cause of Death by Obituary.
Yes. I've been trying to get him on this podcast, dude.
Really?
Yep.
And on the more technical death metal side, I would always recommend Necrophagist. They did only one.
I was just listening to them.
Really? They did one album, which is pretty good. The Onset of Putrefaction or Putrefaction album is not so good. It's played with drum computers, and you hear that it's quite mechanical. But Epitaph is epic.
How about the song 7?
The song 7? What do you mean?
The song Necrophagus? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. No, not Necrophagus, Necrophagist.
Oh, okay. A little bit different.
That's a German technical death metal band.
Wait, how do you spell that one?
Necro, Necro, and then Phagist, Necrophagist. And their album is the 2004 album Epitaph. And you need...
Yeah, it's from that. It's from that album.
Is it?
7. Here, let me play the riff. I'm playing a riff real quick.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I like driving myself insane here? But so do you say the drums are electronic on that one?
No, not on that one.
I was gonna say it does not sound like that.
That was actually played by one of the best technical death metal drummers from Germany, I believe. But the one before, the Onset of Putrefaction album, this is played with drum samples at least.
Dang, I did not know that. See, I learned so much stuff from this podcast, man, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I believe that.
So you were talking about Anthrax earlier, right?
Yeah.
Guess who's in my backyard?
I don't know.
Danny Loker.
Why? What is he doing there?
He lives here in Rochester.
Oh, nice.
He works at the Record Archive.
Nice.
So, yeah, I get to see him every time I go there. It's an interesting conversation. Very reserved.
Okay.
But I've yet to talk to him, and I like on the podcast, which is kind of funny.
Do it, man. Sounds like a great opportunity.
Right. So, what do you got? What do you got in the works for your band here?
What I got in the works, I finished writing the stuff for an EP, which is about like 20, 25 minutes playing time.
Yeah.
And with that, I try to come to an end with all the 90s 20 related topics that I had on my previous albums, because I believe that I need to go forward with my topics or with my themes that I'm talking about. And I stated in a lot of interviews before that I'm pretty heavy fan of poetry from the 1920s, which is pre or post World War One, where there has been a very interesting time in Germany about industrialization, poverty, and the war coming and the war being over. And all that stuff led to a very unique way how people used language to describe what they did. And I stressed this topic a lot in my lyrics, especially there where I lean heavily on the poetry of Georg Trakl, which is one of my favorite poets from that period. And
Nice.
my lyrics are very, very similar to the way he wrote in German. And I feel, I don't know if it's right, but I feel I have to come to an end with that. And so I wrote some sort of a concept EP, which is 3 songs dealing with World War One. And after that, I probably will try to drop that era.
Right. Now, are you going to do any songs lyrically like stuff about in your personal life, or do you feel like that's never going to be a part of this project?
Everything that I write is personal, but it's coded in a way.
Right,
so
right. That's what I mean.
When I for example, in my lyrics write something like a strange one, then you could translate this with I. Mm-hmm. Well, if I say a son does this and that, then this might translate into I.
Okay. Now I understand. See, I've always been one of those people that I don't really look into lyrics, but I know when like it means something of, I don't know how to put it. I'm more of an instrumental guy. I play guitar. So what else do you have other than the new album? Are you guys doing any rehearsals or anything?
Yeah, actually,
live shows.
Yeah, live shows are a bit scarce right now. I believe you've heard of that pandemic we're having right now.
I mean, like one of those Facebook shows, or I don't know.
I don't know. I actually don't know how that works. I'm pretty amazed that people get stuff like this together.
Right.
I'm not sure we could do this from a technical point of view. Maybe we could, and maybe we should. I don't know. But we've never thought about this. But we try to rehearse again, just to have some fun again, because I really miss playing with the dudes or with the guys, and I really miss the feeling that it has to
just
play the
get on
songs.
stage and play the music that you wrote.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll never forget like that first time I ever got on stage and like played like the set I wrote. It was just so like satisfying to see people like actually enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. You can't really beat that, in my opinion.
No, it's you're full of adrenaline, and afterwards you're flooded with endorphins and stuff like that. So it's really like a trip.
Exactly. A non-alcoholic or a non-drug using trip.
Of course. So this is happiness. This is bliss that you can generate by yourself, and that's basically what always drove me into creativity, whatever it was, be it writing, sketching, or making music, because I've always enjoyed having that feeling of having left a footprint somewhere.
Right, exactly. Now you said sketching. Do you do anything like artistically? Like I do photography.
Yeah,
so
nice.
What do you do other in music?
I did photography a lot, especially people's photography, usually in very controlled studio settings. And I did do some retouch work, which I thought was always very interesting work between creativity and preservation of the truth. And I think retouching is an art form which is very underestimated, because we all are confronted with high glamour photos.
Right,
now.
exactly.
And I think it's very easy to accomplish that, actually, but to retouch and still preserve the character and the depth of a person is something which always, for me, was very meditatory. Like, could you? Is that a word?
Yeah. Well, now it is. We just made it. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of band stuff, so luckily, I don't know how. I mean, I've been trying to do like more portraits recently, but
Mhm.
like you said, with covering up, you know, dimples or just random stuff. Like, I don't know if somebody asked me to do that, if I'd want to. Like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things. But so you do drawing? How about like painting?
Yeah, it's a bit sketching. As probably everyone who writes lyrics, I carry a little book around with me where I sketch out ideas, and sometimes I put a small drawing beside it just to yeah, keep something or preserve something, an idea which I can't phrase in words at that time. So it's not really something that I would show to someone, but it's just something else. It's just a different outlet for me, which complements with all the other stuff going on in my head.
Right. Now, the one thing that, I really, what drags me into a band is the logo.
Mm.
And yours in specific, like, where did you get that done? Like, what were you trying to accomplish when you had that done?
Yeah. The artist is a really great one, and I recommend checking out his portfolio. It's View from the Coffin. It's an Italian artist who did a lot of black metal band logos, and you can follow him on Instagram or on Facebook. He does amazing work. And I just gave him the briefing that I was very much into urban loneliness. And that
Okay.
and this is one of the topics that I get out of this 20s poetry, where I said, or put it that way, see, in the 20s, urban areas and dense urban areas were a new thing because people went out of a feudalistic system into an industrial revolution, and then huge cities developed which weren't there before, and this led to some sort of poverty. And especially in Berlin in the 1910s, 20s, this had a very, very bleak architecture. And I briefed the logo guy with this stuff and also with some other ideas I had that, for example, people do not interact with each other, and being like ghosts and that stuff. And then
Right.
he came up with this very architectural logo, which then in the bottom turns into something like a cancer or a thriving nature devouring the architecture. And I loved this from the very first moment on.
Well, now I'm looking at it like as you say that. Yeah, I see it now. Wow.
So if you didn't see that from the beginning, what was your impression of the logo?
Just like when I saw that, I saw atmospheric black metal right away. Like
Okay.
that just jumped right out in my face. I felt a little bit of like black and death metal. Like I felt like it was going to be in a way where it kind of sounded like let me say bloodbath. I
Yeah.
felt a little bit of bloodbath and a little bit of atmospheric black metal.
Mhm. Okay.
But yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know. I like it.
if we convey that with the logo, it's no lie. But as you can see, if you have a close look, there are all these small window frames in the logo. It's very, very intricate, and I like
Right.
this a lot.
I love it. Is there anything you want to promote at the end here?
No, I'm pretty happy that people may be interested in listening to our music because they got to know us through this podcast, and I just encourage them, do it. It's a good album, or it's good albums, and in that respect, please do support underground artists because we're struggling in the crisis more than anyone else, and yeah, there are people like me giving their heart's blood for good music, and just support him wherever you can and however you can.
Right. And I'm going to correct you on a great album. It's an amazing album. It is one of my favorites, like to this day. So,
Okay, cool. Thank you.